Alright, little quick shave tonight. Continuing with my Nacet. 113 shaves on it, 50 dots on this side. It adds up to 113 altogether, so this one's 114. The soap we're going to use today is Mystic Water, and this is Windjammer. Just got some kind of a blend, you know. It is masculine. Pretty good description on the Mystic Water site. The 1305 from Semogue. Been enjoying lately. This is just maybe the 4th use of it, or 5th or something. I've had it soaking for a couple hours. Just kind of help break it in. I'm trying that method out. It seems to be a little bit less invasive than some of the longer methods and stuff, but I'm just trying it out to see. But had that guy soaking for a little while. And then the Nacet is loaded into my Sheraton, a vintage Gillette open comb razor. Last couple nights I've been using the Gillette single ring, and it has left this area with a few that kind of need to be cut still. Have a little bit of length left on them. About a 24-hour gap here between shaves. I have hard water and it's very cold. It is winter time here. I have smushed about a 1/4 teaspoon of the soap into the bottom of my lather bowl. 1/4 teaspoon is all it takes. Yesterday it was maybe a little bit more than a 1/4 teaspoon, and I had 2 passes left over at the end of 3 or 3.5. So I should get plenty of lather. Alright, splash of water on my face. Alright, let's build the lather. Shake most of the water out of this brush. The one thing you need to remember about Mystic Water soaps is that you need to kind of come at them with a lightly wet brush. Just a damp brush, and that's the best way to start them off. And then once they stabilize a little bit, then start adding water. Definitely some florals in there. Maybe one of the orange derivatives like neroli or bergamot or something like that. We'll see what else comes out. A lot of the soaps from Mystic Water, they perform so well. Their base is really good. To me, it can compete with the top tier soaps out there. It's just that their scents, I've found, are occasionally a little on the weak side. I'm going to start adding water to this. So just we'll go ahead and add a whole teaspoon at a time. I think with my 1/4 teaspoon plus of lather yesterday, of soap used, I think I used 4 teaspoons of water and more, because I ended up adding a little bit with a spray to kind of hydrate and add a little bit uniformly to my face. So I'm just going to skip right to 2 teaspoons here and go ahead and refill. This brush is 1305 and it's the same bristles as the 830 from Semogue. And I have the 830, but it's a smaller handle and it's good for face lathering, but not bowl lathering per se, because the little plastic acrylic handle gets really slippery because you're always getting your fingers in it, you know, when you're bowl lathering. So it's really hard to kind of hold on to. Pretty elastic lather we have there. And add just a touch more water. That looks terrific. It may need a little bit more water when it's on my face, but that's all right. You know what? I will go ahead and add a little bit more. Last couple times I've stopped early and had to add more water, which is fine, especially when I use my spray bottle on either the brush or my face. It really helps to bring that water in pretty easily. But why don't we go ahead and just make it a part of the lather anyway. I am getting a pretty good whiff of this from the bowl. And so maybe it'll be strong enough. I don't quite know if it's masculine. We'll just see. Another splash of water on my face. All right. Yeah, I think this needs a little bit of water. It's easier to add water at this time than try to take it out. Yeah, see that lather getting built up? Man, this soap can take quite a bit of water. And needs it actually, because you don't want this stuff to be too dry. If it's too dry, it doesn't really bond with your skin very well. Give you that slickness and protection that you really need. That's a good lather. Yeah, nice and slick. All right. Haven't shaved with a Sheraton for a few days because I was using those single rings. Those are the Gillette old types, and they came around. One of them was from around 1921. Other one was from maybe 1917. Gillette, this one was a little bit later. Comfortable, no pulling. Now a person who is used to hairs just being sliced through without feeling very much of a sensation might say that it's pulling, but once you kind of get used to it and realize that it's not really pulling, you can really go farther on your blades. All right, rinse. Now one thing I can do, since I did have to spray a little bit, add a little bit of water, I can leave, like I have, some droplets of water on my face from the rinse, and that could help. Yeah, this is, I'd say this is maybe a 5 out of 10 in terms of strength, so that's good. But unfortunately, it's kind of a, I don't know if I like it or not. It could be one that I need to use a few times, because it definitely has a floral or a feminine component to it. Maybe a powdery, component as well. Brush feels great. All right, and I was about to say it's time to rinse, but let's shave it off first. Cross grain pass. Maybe I was a little not careful and gave myself just a little bit of razor burn somewhere in this area. Moving a little too quickly, maybe not quite bothering to stretch my skin. You don't want to stretch a lot, just a little bit. All right, nice creamy rinse after the first pass, so that's pretty cool. I think maybe the formulation's pretty spot on. Alrighty, reloaded. Don't really have to do the scrub at this point, since we've already cleaned really well with the first 2 passes. So I can just switch to painting pretty quickly. I mean, it wouldn't suck if I had to use this on if I was stuck with this soap for a desert island kind of thing, I'd still enjoy my shaves. But I'm probably pick something else, scent, just, I'm glad for the strength of it. Feels good, nice and creamy, and also nice and slick, so it sticks well. To my face. Kind of did a slant pattern right there in my trouble area next to my Adam's apple. Just kind of turning it this way, but doing kind of a Gillette slide as it has come to be known. Kind of a diagonal stroke. You just have to be really careful with that. Make sure you always have a downward component to it instead of just this way. You know what could happen there. All right, third pass down. Let's go ahead and do this as a fourth pass. Try to get that area just a little closer. Wow. I think that did a great job. All right, that's a very nice shave by just about anybody's standards. One or two hairs have a little bit of length on them, but so many of the others are cut nicely in this trickiest area on my face. The other areas feel great. I can't go against the grain on my neck, and so that's just kind of have to leave it. Almost 3 teaspoons of water for that 1/4 teaspoon of soap, and it was just about perfect because I like to have a little lather left over, and I've got 1 pass, probably 2 passes there, so pretty close to just right, and happy with that. The brush did great, displays nicely, soft tips even now, so I'm really happy with the brush too. Here's the 1305, and you know, I guess the tips are starting to split, so we'll just keep on going with that. The razor did well. I think it did do a little better than my single rings, a little closer cut. So the geometry, you know, it's all about that, because the blade was the same, technique was pretty much the same. So just the geometry just happens to fit my skin better, and it might work the same way with you, but it might not. Yeah, so everything's subjective in most cases. The razor feel, especially the blade, very subjective. May not work for you the same way. All right, excellent. I'm going to clean up. Okay, so my judgment about scent, based on just the first impression, is that it's kind of right on that line between masculine and feminine. So I think you could get away with it either way if you like the scent. All right, so here's this little guy after I stropped him on the towel. So he is definitely splaying out. You can even see some of the tips there splitting. So he's already pretty soft. He's just going to get better and better with age. It's just the way boars work. And the painting here, the staining, is a synthetic thing. I mean, a man-made thing. I think they thought that that some people liked that look. Maybe it has the look of a silver-tip badger or something like that. So some boars are colored, dyed that way to have that same look. Now for the post shave, don't use this one too much. Got it on sale. Sapone de Paolo, Arancione, if I'm pronouncing that right. Organic sweet orange, it says. So I don't need anything too bold right now. I'm a night shaver, so I go to sleep. That little area I told you about during the shave is a little tender still, but not almost gone. I'm pretty sure won't be able to feel it in just a few minutes. Boy, I think I put on a little too much, but hey, it'll absorb. I'm pretty confident. So here we go. Try this guy out. All right. Well, it's a good shave. Nice to be back with the Sheraton. Turns out it does do a little better job for me with this old blade than the single rings do, the old type single rings. And I'm cycling through my bores. I've got 2 bores that I'm training, and the Semogue is breaking in much more quickly than the Omega. You know, that big black handled Omega. It's still very prickly. We'll see what happens though. I think it'll be a neat brush once those tips start splitting, because it's so big. All right, nice little orange scent on this balm. So cool. Well, there we go. I hope there was something for you in this shave. This is Sugar Daddy Shaves. Take care. Good night.